I've got blue souls, cause I'm way gone, trying to find my way back home. Count my bones as in desert crumbs flow. I'm gonna turn all of my stones.
Rock bottom make a man and some pressure make a gemstone. Trying to put $1 to my name like Creflo. Niger boy, late to the game, it's in the blood flow. And I'm from the south, it's thick skin and tough bone. Big attitude through big lips with gusto. Trust no kings, that's why they tried to crush souls. But it's IGBO, when the dust blow, this old head be standing there. No silver, just gold. Crack no books on the hustle, I was born to grind. Yo, scared of your potential, I'm adorned with mine. 30 times around the sun, man, of course I shine. My legacy will not dwarf with time. And in my daughter's eyes, it's basic, I must not say quit. Every day sees a present like a Rob St. Nick. Walk a fine line between tenacious and patient. I can't slip, I'm fighting clocks and they can't win.
I've got blue souls, cause I'm way gone, trying to find my way back home. Count my bones as in desert crumbs flow. I'm gonna turn all of my stones. I've got blue souls, cause I'm way gone, trying to find my way back home. Who that soldier in the mirror, oh oh. I'm gonna turn all of my stones.
Impeccably I flow, hardest raps you know. Breaking status quo, reaping what I sow. Artistry like Django, get it from my mama, hip so thick that I need tempo. Personality, spicy body banging like a bongo. Cause black women been it since Timbuktu since Pharaoh. Sponge rollers and hot combs, lips, cheeks and brow bones. If you ain't for the culture then please stay out of my zone. These little dummy rappers could never grace my headphones. See I'm from a place in space where ain't no storytelling, you just had to have been there. If you want the battle, ain't no problem, say where. I got so much experience, I can't even play fair. But I'ma keep evolving and growing and hurting feelings and showing. You need endurance to go in, I got mileage on this pen. I've been busy cause I've been out here schooling all these kids. Took 3 decades to have this glow up that I did.
I've got blue souls, cause I'm way gone, trying to find my way back home. Count my bones as in desert crumbs flow. I'm gonna turn all of my stones. I've got blue souls, cause I'm way gone, trying to find my way back home. Who that soldier in the mirror, oh oh. I'm gonna turn all of my stones. Turn all of my
Let's watch.
Come on, Mr.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. This is Lady Freedom here, coming at you with another raw narrative. And it's so good to see all of you today. Happy Monday. I hope you're all having a great day, whether you're at work or if you have the day off, whatever you're doing. I hope you're having a great day. Wild Wolf, so good to see you, and thank you for being number one. I hope your family is good, Lady Freedom. Oh, you've had a bug, Wild Wolf. I'm so sorry. I'm glad you're feeling better today. That's great. Oh, I'm so glad you're here. Hey, Chuchi, good to see you. Chuchi, I can help you with that list if you want. I have most of them written down, but there was some kind of that were on other channels that I don't normally listen to. So we could probably definitely get together and see what we have put together. And I also have the dates for them written down as well. Hey, Dawn Emery, good to see you. And Panda Bear's mom, so good to see you. Panda Bear's mom, I'm sorry I didn't reach out to you this weekend. I just had such a busy weekend. It really got away from me quicker than I expected. But I'd like to do our live on Devlin sometime this week. So just let me know what times you are available, and we'll work something out there. Narita, so good to see you. Thank you for being here. And Kylie's Nail Candy, nice to have you here. Hey, Magic Star, good to see you. Fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. Panda Bear's mom says, I have 66 subscribers. Woohoo! All right. And I just talked with Devlin's bio mom last night, and it went great. Well, fantastic. I really hope and pray all the best for him. Hopefully we can find out where he went, if he did leave or run away or something like that, or something more nefarious. I just always hope that we can figure out what happened there. Right, because we all have the ability to do that. Busy Mama, good to see you in the bushes working. She says, oh, I hope you have a great day at work. Hope all is well. Glad to see everyone. Yeah, and I also have I did look Chuchi at David. So there's this rapper guy. I think he's more of like a poet. I mean, I guess if you write raps, you're somewhat poetic, or have a good grasp on poetry. Uh, that guy's weird, you guys, and that young lady. It's just strange. She's a beautiful young lady. Ended up in the trunk of one of his vehicles, and he's saying he didn't have anything to do with it. You know. Hey Elaine, good to see you. Hey Maui son. So that is a developing new case, which I was still looking. Yeah, his name's David with a 4. Magic Star. Yeah, it's like instead of an A, it's a 4, and then vid. So David. I mean, I guess if I look at it long enough, it does look like David. So I don't know. You got to get creative when your name's David. It's a pretty common name, right? So, um, yeah, very strange story. Doesn't really add up. And some of the things that he's written and put out there are pretty disturbing, right? Like I wouldn't want a guy writing that about me or my daughter or my friends or anybody. It's just really, really weird. Um, oh, Chuchi, that's so sweet of you. Chuchi says, Panda, if you have anything, I can put it in the archive. That is fantastic. She started an archive as well for David. Yeah, I haven't like been able to look too far into it, but what I do know or what I have seen leads me to believe that there's something obviously wrong. And I think everybody's red flags were going off there, right? Um, his songs have lyrics that reflect the crime. Yes, they do star. And then also the timing, and then there's a song called Celeste. The young lady's name was Celeste, and it's called Celeste, and it's very obsessive behavior. Like, when we're younger, we don't recognize that type of a behavior. In my opinion, in my experience, we might, just kind of shrug it off and say, "Oh, well, they're just really into me. They just really like me." But when people get to the level of obsessive behavior, love bombing, um, it's always a huge red flag, right? To people who know and can recognize it. Because it isn't them just being overly sweet. They don't just really, really like you. No, they're obsessed with you. And people think, excuse me, some people think to themselves, like, I know I do, and I did. That's kind of conceited, like, maybe there's something wrong with me. No, you're definitely right. If you think that somebody is showing obsessive behaviors towards you, you're probably right. If you get that in your gut instinct, right? Where it's like, wow, this person is a little too much, right? Always recognize it and always do something about it. I've always regretted it when I didn't go with my gut, because we know ourselves best, and those feelings pop up for a reason, in my opinion. Yeah, that's so nice, Panda Bear's mom. Thank you guys. Narita says, "Lady, will you look at something? The Proud Feet's court, the lady with the glasses sitting in front of Cletus. She looks like the lady in pink at the Texas Roadhouse, in my opinion." Okay, I'll take a look. I do have that clip. I was having some trouble too with um my video downloader. I don't know what in the world happened, but either way, it was giving me trouble. And then it started working okay again. So I'm like, all right. And I couldn't get a hold of the company. That was taking too long. So, but it started working again. I'll have to look and see. And I'm guessing it was the one for Bullhorn Betty's court. Um, Boy, there was a lot of people that were sitting over there that are affiliated with YouTube. Um, and then I know that Melissa had her hair dyed purple. Um, that's fantastic, Chi. I don't even know how to do an archive like that. That is so great. Chi says I will eventually make my archives public, but right now I have them private so we can use them for research, but I will eventually make them public very soon. Very awesome. Yeah, and I'm like that too, Chi. I like to share any information that I have. So whatever people want to use from, my podcasts or the videos that I put out, they're always more than welcome to do that. The only thing is I do put copyrighted music in there to transform the content, make it my own, especially if I'm using news clips and things like that, right? Just because that way it kind of covers my backside when it comes to, fair use and making sure that I'm transforming the content in order to make it, more of my own original content, which it could never really be if I'm using news clips, right? That's just how it is. I'm not trying to plagiarize anyone or take their content, but I find it to be more interesting and more informative, right, and educational when I bring in people who are experts in the field, right? Just like when we were talking about Pat Brown. She did a fantastic job of analyzing the Proud Fee. I was really, really impressed with everything she picked up on, and that comes along with having that education, right? So I like to bring educated people on, or review their content. We did the same thing whenever we were looking into the geofencing technology. We were watching news clips about it. We studied the Yale conversation between representatives from Yale. It was the ACLU. I think the lady was from the New York Times or Post. And then it was a judge that was on the panel. And so I just like bringing those types of perspectives into play and then having us discuss them. So, but everybody can use anything that I put out there. And if you want the original, I'll just have to like dig it up somewhere, which takes me a minute. But um, oh, so there's two Celestes in his life. Magic Star says, pretty weird stuff. Yeah, I mean, well, especially when she ends up, like my biggest thing is like she ended up in your truck, bro. right? Even if it was, the back seat, but she was in your trunk. Um, and so at the end of the day, I'm kind of like, well, I mean, it wouldn't make sense for someone to set him up or anything like that, you know? So, yeah, Chuchi, that's a good way to explain, um, David. Like, whenever you were sending me the TikToks and I was watching some of them, David is a very dark person that every time you turn around this case, there's something always changing. So you got to keep up with it. Yeah, yeah. And that's the hardest part, Chuchi, about any of these cases. Really, I mean, it is tough. Just like with little Renesmee Utsi. I mean, like I covered her on a fluke. People were like, "Hey, Lady Freedom, there's this flyer out." I said, "Oh, I think I shared that one," or we pulled it up and I shared it out. And lo and behold, that story again has so many twists and turns and so many big red flags, as well as just the patterns that we see in these children who are living the American horror story, right? They just are. They have no place to go. They're stuck in the house. They don't even go to school and get any kind of reprieve, or they don't go to school and the abuse is hidden, right? So we have parents jumping through into the cracks of the system and children falling down the cracks of the system. Um, and you have to catch everything early too, Chi. I mean, that's the thing. You have to go to these people's Facebook pages before they shut them down. You gotta, you know, um, really dig in before they get hip to the fact that you're digging in. And I mean, I'm not saying, you stalk these people, but you look into them and you get a good idea. It's just like with Chris Proudfeet and his mom. I just went over to look at her Facebook page because I know she's a realtor, right? I found out she was a realtor, and I just kind of wanted to go over and see what kind of a person, like what kind of a realtor. I know a lot of realtors, right? So I've met a lot of them. I was one. So it's just one of those things where I was trying to gauge. Most of them are very, very nice people. But most recently, I heard of a real estate agent that was caught with um, child sex abuse material on her phone, along with her firefighter husband. This is in Florida here. Um, and they both had it on their phones, and they were also being disgusting and assaulting dogs, right? And videotaping themselves doing so. So you don't know who you're dealing with, even if you go and look at their Facebook and it's picture perfect. These two had kids. They have two little girls, right? And they're trading that kind of material. Um, just disgusting, you know. Trying to look different, in my opinion. Kylie's nail candy, yeah, and they do that. They'll do that as well, you know. Oh, okay. There's no I in his name at all. It's just day. It's just D4VD. Is that right, guys? I don't know how these people spell their stuff. I think the lady in the glasses is Terry Lynn, and the one sitting next to the lady in the glasses is Molly Golightly. Yes, that is true. That is true. Um, but the ones that were sitting in front of, or the person who was sitting in front of Clue and Cletus, I can't recall. And the only reason I can recall their placement is because the Proud Feet were in the picture and I took the picture, you know. So, hey, Faye, good to see you. Yeah, TL was sitting by the feet. Uh, are we talking about the people on the other side of the court? No, no. Yeah, it's the ones that were sitting in front of Clue and Cletus, because, like, it was like Crabtree was sitting behind Clue and Cletus, but there was someone else sitting in front. There were other people sitting in front of them. Right. The Texas Roadhouse also, yes. And I've been looking into the Texas Roadhouse. I'm more focused on the lights video, guys, and that's not to say that I'm right for that. I think we should focus on everything. But where I'm focusing mostly on for a presentation, and I was telling you guys I have a really good live planned for you guys on that. Um, but I'm still working on it. So it should be done tonight for the late show. Um, but I'm more interested in the lights, right? Because I think that's how Sebastian got out. Especially if they keep telling us, oh well, Sebastian made it home. Well, the only way if that child made it home, that's the only way he got out that night. Come on. I wish there were teleportation devices. It would make things a lot easier for when we wanted to travel, right? Um, but that's not possible. Uh, it's not possible that the aliens got Sebastian. It's not possible that he ninja'd himself out of the house undetected. We're going to talk more about it, but I'm more interested in that. And with that being said, I'm also interested in Sebastian's or excuse me, the time that it took Sebastian and Katie to get to from the Texas Roadhouse to their house, because that should not take a half hour, right? So if they left the restaurant around 6:30, then they should have been home around 6:45, 6:50, right? Because I heard it only takes about, depending on traffic, right, and depending, on probably weather or whatever. Like if it was snowing or whatever, it might take you longer. If it was raining really bad, it might take you a little bit longer. You're going to drive a little bit slower, right? Or if you get caught in traffic or there's an accident or something like that. But other than that, it should pretty much take you 15 minutes to get from point A to point B. And yes, I think that guy has a picture of Sebastian on his phone, the yellow jacket guy. Either way, the last two that were in contact, no matter what, the last two people that were in contact with Chris and Katie before Sebastian was seen, out publicly, before he wasn't seen ever again, was at the Texas Roadhouse, and it was the yellow jacket and the green hoodie. Those were the last two interactions, you know? Yeah, because Terry Lynn was scooting next to Molly Golightly, and Molly Golightly went to Jay's for Justice's channel and got up on her panel and said that Terry Lynn's a weirdo and she was trying to get away from her, and Terry Lynn just kept on scooting closer and closer to her. So I definitely know that was Molly Golightly. She said that she had to like move because every time she'd scoot over, Terry Lynn would like box her in, and so she had to move, and go to a different pew in the court. I mean, that's what she said. Lisa King, good to see you. Yeah, Terry Lynn, in my opinion, played both sides of the. She played both sides, right? Just for information, for her own personal gain. That's very apparent now, right? Very apparent. She showed her true colors, is what she did, right? But as it pertains to Sebastian's case, there was a lot of things that she had recorded, you know, and that sort of thing. Terry Lynn's a pretty underhanded person, though, so I would be hesitant to play her content because of who and how she is. We'll just put it that way. And no shade. I hope she's doing good in her life. Narita says, Chi, no, that is not Terry Lynn, in my opinion. It is. It is, Narita. Here, I'll show you guys. It's Terry Lynn. Trust. I would never say something about somebody that wasn't true like that, guys. Even if I don't get along with them or they don't like me. right? This is the picture that I have. And it's a screenshot because because I was taking a picture of Chris and Katie, and then I looked and I'm like, oh, that's Terry Lynn. Oh, hell no. I mean, like, I did not recognize her because, I mean, I guess there's filters and stuff that's used. It's got to be it, because I had to do a double take and then slow everything down and zoom in, and oh my god, that is her, right? So we have Chris Proudfoot. Right behind him in the dark big glasses, right? There's a lady with blonde hair directly in back of Chris Proudfoot. And that's Molly Golightly. And in between Chris and Katie is Terry Lynn, right? And there's Katie. I don't know who this lady is. She looks very familiar to me. I don't know who she is, though. The lady with the dark brown hair and the glasses. Now, behind that lady with the dark hair and the glasses, or excuse me, light brown hair and the glasses, is purple hair. And that's Melissa Proudfoot, allegedly. I don't know that for sure, but everyone that was at the courthouse that day said that that's Melissa in the purple hair. And then that old gentleman, and I'm not trying to be rude, guys, but he's got a white beard, and a bald head, right? And everyone was like, "Is that the yellow jacket guy?" And I'm like, "No, I don't think so." Because he looks a little bit too old to be the yellow jacket guy, in my opinion. But people were asking, like, Lady Freedom, do you think that's him? And I was like, nah, I don't think so. And I'll always be honest with you guys. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It's okay. We're all going to get it wrong in this case. There's nobody that's going to get it right in this case. Look, we all thought that they played arcade games because Katie said so at the Strike and Spare, and they didn't. Apparently, they only stayed there for 10 minutes. Hey, Ann Reynolds, good to see you. Oh, Ann, I was going to ask you too, and I think I asked you the other day, but the chat I got behind in the chat. Is there any, or is there any way that you could send me a video of that little keychain flashlight and how well it does? I don't know if you could do that, but that would be great if you could, if it still works. I know sometimes those little batteries go out. Hey, Lolly, good to see you. Thank you for being here. Yes, thank you. I appreciate you being here. And I also thank you so much for your email. And I got the screenshot. So I'm also working those in to the video, that I'm putting together for the night show. It's a lot. It's a lot, Magic Star knows. It's a lot. Thank you, Miss Ann, for hitting the like button. Chi says, yes, I've been collecting the videos from different creators. I put them all together so information purposes only, and I got to figure out how to make them public for everyone to use. Yeah, because even if we have the knowledge, you know what I'm saying, of at least it's out there for proof. Because that's the thing. Like when I went back to look for the March 17th interview, she didn't have it on her channel anymore. Dutch didn't. Dutch Girl, I think she calls herself now. Not Terry Lynn. But another reason that I snapped this picture, guys, is because I was getting a lot of hate in backlash because I said Terry Lynn was at the courthouse. Oh, I didn't even say she was at the courthouse. What I said is that according to Clue, Terry Lynn was sitting on the same side with the Proud Feet, right? But she's, allowed to sit wherever she wants. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that Clue was saying that, and I was like, wow, that's weird that she's sitting over there, because usually she's sitting on the other side, right? So that was weird. With his cloak of invisibility. Yeah, he just poof, right? Magic, sorry, just poof. Hey, Cinderella. There is an audio that goes to the light video, Lisa King. Yes, there is. Hello, Twitch. Good to see you. No arrests yet. And we don't know if it's Travis Decker or not. I got a clip to go over with that, and then also a Jack and Lily clip, because they did bring the cadaver dogs in, and they're looking into finding Jack and Lily. So Kylie's Nail Candy says, notice they talk in threes. Yes. Magic Star. We've talked about that too. Notice how they talk in threes. 3 a.m. trash truck, 3 a.m. phone call, 3 hours and 37 minutes from doorstep to doorstep drive home. It is said that when the guilty are interviewed, they always use 3. Wow, very interesting, Kylie. Thank you for that. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, she's a total snake. Guys, I could do a whole live if my true crime channel was about me. I could do a whole live about the crap that Terry Lynn has done to me. Why do you think White Boy came after me? She teamed up with the Proud Feet and they came after me. It's just that simple. Hey, Town Chat Cafe. It's crystal clear. Chuchi says, in my opinion, that is Terry Lynn next to Molly Golightly, but I don't know the other lady with the glasses next to Katie. Yeah, see, same here. Same here. I'm not sure. That lady looks familiar to me, though, like I've seen her before. I don't know why. Unless she looks like someone I know or something like that, just someone familiar to me. But I remember faces better than names, actually. I'll remember what you drink what your drink is that you drink, um, whether it's Pepsi, Coke, whatever. I mean, even down to that, just because I've been a server, bartender. Courtney Morris says, "OMG, that man with the beard looks like Yellow Coat from the nose up." In my opinion, I know, Courtney. That's what people were saying. Good to see you. Yeah, people were saying, "Do you think that's him?" And I'm like, "No, I don't think so." But it does. It resembles him, right? Because like he's got very, I'm not gonna say like common features, but I mean, like he's a bald guy with, and he's wearing that damn mask. And if he had the mask off, we could see his chin, we can see his cheekbones, we can see his ears better, we can see everything better. I don't know if she's I think she's got guilty knowledge, Kylie. Absolutely, she's got guilty knowledge. She was all up in the mix, right? And not for the reason of finding the truth either. It was for the reason of getting involved and um screwing with stuff, intentionally, in my opinion. you know um a random question, guys. Does anyone know if Chris is a biker? Maybe a biker. He proclaims to be a biker. He's one of the scum bums, is in my opinion. Yeah, TL and Molly, Narita. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Cece, good to see you. But yeah, that's why I took that one, because people were like, Lady Freedom, you're wrong. Terry Lynn would never sit over there. And I'm like, damn, this is why I didn't say anything when she first started her shit. And because I knew people, like, I mean, I know how much I loved and cared for Terry Lynn, what she was doing, for Sebastian. I believed it too, right? And so like I wasn't just gonna come out right away when I was having the issues. But when Clue said that, it caught my attention. I clipped that part, I made a video, and then the next thing there she is sitting on the same side of the courtroom, just like Clue said. So Clue wasn't lying. I wasn't lying. Terry Lynn was the one that was lying, right? And then the people that really were, diehard fans of her were upset about it. And it's like, don't be upset about us. Don't be upset at Clue. Don't be upset at me. Don't be upset, and don't make me stick up for Clue, damn it. But shit, I'm going to do it when it's right. And she was being truthful. She was telling the truth. She said Terry Lynn was on the side of, with all of us on that one side of she called it on the one side of the aisle or pond or something like that. I can't remember. I made a video. Hey, Mama Grace, good to see you. Thank you for being here. I know I'm doing a decent hour today. I've been trying to do day shows during the week, and then, the weekend, a little bit hit or miss, but that way at least I can catch more people during the day. So the light on the flashlight is very bright. All or excuse me, is not very bright. Okay, I didn't think so. And all you can It's not very bright at all, and you cannot use it like they're saying. It's only good to like shine on your door for your key in the right. Yeah, exactly. Right, Miss Ann. I know what you're saying. Like if you're in the dark and you can't find the keyhole or something like that for your car, I know that, that's usually easy to find. But I mean, little things like that. It's not for like shining a light to see at night if you're walking around or something like that. Yeah, Miss Ann. Okay. Yeah. I wanted to kind of just show how bright it is to people, because some people think, you might be thinking, oh, that light goes far. Thank you, Panda Bear's mom. But it really doesn't. Yeah. Mama Socks said something to TL, but the thing is that stuff was going on a long time before, guys. That this stuff with Terry Lynn started back in like October, November of 24, right? Where she was, still wanting to talk to Crabtree. She was, she set up that thing in the park, her and Casey, acting like it was, they didn't realize, they knew that was all, that was all a big, like, it was all for show. We'll just put it that way. It's all for show. Which is fine. People do that all the time, right? People manufacture content on YouTube more than we realize it. More than I ever realized it until, you know, I started making content myself. I started realizing it. I started seeing it. Our good friend Momming It Up, she's been very educational, to me, like showing, okay, this is what this is. Like, I didn't know what half of this stuff was, right? Because I don't really participate in a lot of it. In terms of like I even had to figure out what the Kiwi Farms thing was, because I had no idea what that was. I was like, people intentionally try to make other people unalive themselves. Yeah, that's not a new concept. I mean, we saw that even in true crime with that young lady that did that to her little boyfriend, right? And told him, do it, do it, do it. And then he did, right? But these people like make a whole, like that's their life's mission. Some of our lives' mission is to help people. Other people's life mission is to hurt people, you know? So, and it's sad, but Kylie's nail candy says that call with Chris said it all. They both sounded high as a kite, in my opinion. Well, and when I first heard that call, I thought, this lady is funny as hell, right? Like that's why I started following Terry Lynn to begin with, was because of the call with Chris Proudfoot, you know, because it made me laugh. It was funny as hell. And then also, like, I liked seeing him get treated like he treats everybody else. So yeah, I mean, that, to me that was like, oh, all right, well, at least she's not afraid to treat him like the shit he's doing to other people, right? Because he doesn't deserve respect. Like, we talked about that. Why? He doesn't give anybody respect. He comes onto people's channels and acts a fool, and like he's a guest. It's weird. Cece says, yes, you're right about Mama Socks and Terry Lynn having some sort of disagreement outside of the courthouse, Grace Paris. Yeah. Yeah, there was something that happened and nobody wants to, talk about it any further. Right. But then again, Terry Lynn, if anybody knows how she is, again, what I was just saying too, she is confrontational herself, but a lot of it's for show. A lot of it's, I can't even say a lot of it. I'm going to say 99.99% of it is just for show, you know? Or like, in your bathroom in the dark or something. I don't know, Miss Ann. I was just thinking about that because I was like, I wonder how bright, even just for an example, I get that like not every single keychain flashlight's going to be exactly the same, but it pretty close, pretty close. Well, I wasn't getting it through the text messages, but I got it on Facebook, Miss Ann. So I can get it on Facebook. Um, Oh, no worries, Chi. I'm glad you're here. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate you. Yeah, she is friends with, they went to school together, Grace Paris, and I don't know if they're like great. I don't know how great of friends they were, if they were just acquaintances. And that school is so small. Like it's so small compared compared to my high school, because that's kind of what I try to compare it to. Like, was it someone that I knew, in school, just knowing them, right? Because I knew a lot of people in school. Um, but with our high school, we went to two different high schools, right? Because it was such a big crowd of kids. So, my graduating class was humongous. Um, I don't think that's how it was there. So, like, it seems like they're all pretty close knit, especially like Terry Lynn was showing her high school reunion, and she went and toured Beach High School. It's a very nice high school. They do have a big, a lot of programs, a big program for animals, like what Sebastian would have loved to be doing. And she showed that. But yeah, it seems like they were a pretty close knit group of people. I just don't know how good of friends Terry was with Bobby, but she definitely got her talking. And Bobby also at the vigil was like, hey, we went to school together and everything like that. So they were friendly and they knew each other. Um, Thank you, Miss Ann. Yeah, that's what I was looking to show it. I don't have to put it with even with the video. But I think we might be in the same time zone about. Um, but either way, yeah, I would appreciate it just because I had one, and oddly enough, it was from a mortgage company and it was swag at an open house. And I've talked about it before. Mine was a little green flashlight. It was green. And I'm sure it's someplace in my storage. Like I'm sure it's somewhere in a box somewhere. Um, which that was another thing I didn't get done yesterday, but it just was so hot. It was too hot to go. So I'll probably do that today. But yeah, don't worry, Miss Ann, if you can't get it over to me. And if anything, I was trying to get, I had a cleaned up version sent to me of the lights video, but I didn't save it and the link expired. So I had to email the person that sent it to me and said, could you resend it to me? Because I went to go add it and load it into the video, and I'm like, oh, it's gone. So I was like, dang it. So yeah, I just, sometimes that happens with things when you're like working, especially a project like this, because I'm putting a couple of things together. I did add the picture of the flashlight that you sent, Ann Reynolds, too. So thank you for that. And so I've been just kind of trying to piece it together. That way it's all in one spot, or people can get some perspective on this, because there's something that really, really bothers me when people are only shown one piece of the light video. And that's what's been happening across the board. Even when it came to America's Most Wanted, you know? Hey, YouTuber, good to see you. Yeah, even with America's Most Wanted, right? They only showed them one piece of the video. So now everybody's thinking, "Oh, well, Sebastian had a flashlight, and at 3 a.m. he was walking out with the flashlight." It doesn't matter what the police say that those were lights from someplace else. Everybody can tell that those are independent light sources that are moving through the common area. Nobody in their right mind believes that shit that the FBI put out. Nobody. It's like Keith Sweat. Nobody, baby. Yep, nobody. Not a damn person. Right? Not one single friggin' person believes that. So when they're looking at it, they're going to say, oh, well, I don't know what the whole deal is, because this young man was walking, he had a flashlight. Only thing missing from the house was a flashlight. And he walked out with a flashlight, met somebody, got into a car. That's what I would think. Logically, if it was me, yeah. If I'm a logical person, a rational person would look at that and say Sebastian walked off with the flashlight. If they didn't see the rest of the video and they didn't see the person that came from the house go back to the house, then of course they're going to think that. But what are we doing? Allowing for that to be the narrative when that's not the truth, you know? Anne says she got that one from her uncle, from her husband's uncle's body shop. Yeah, like they put them out there, right, for people to put on their keychains just for a little bit of a little bit of a flashlight. It's not for a big, you know, to see in a big area or for you to go out in the woods with it, you know, that sort of thing. So yeah, it's ridiculous, you know, and this case has been quite ridiculous. I feel bad for Seth. He shouldn't have to deal with this. You know, it's crazy. It's crazy. All right, guys. So let's get into a little bit of this CBS Morning, right? Let me share this link just so that way we're giving credit to them. All right, so this is where I got that from, and let me present it up here on the screen for you guys. So, the remains are of Travis Decker have been reportedly found, but they have not confirmed anything through the medical examiner's office yet. Everything has been sent away for testing, and they're awaiting the test results.
A months-long manhunt in the Pacific Northwest appears to be over. Authorities in Washington state believe they have found the remains of an ex-soldier suspected of killing his 3 young daughters. Lisa Rosner is here with the details. Lisa.
Okay, so we have Travis Decker, excuse me, Travis Decker was having some mental health issues, right? Along with him being a veteran, he was experiencing high levels of stress and also mental illness. And it's been reported that he may have had PTSD and borderline personality disorder, although it does not really indicate much because it doesn't sound like he was getting the proper help and diagnosis that he needed. And I'll say that.
So good morning.
Good morning, Dana. The search for Travis Decker began back on June 2nd when he failed to return the girls to their mother's home. It involved hundreds of law enforcement officers from state, local, and federal agencies. On Friday, authorities said they are confident that search came to an end when they found skeletal remains in the Cascade Mountains.
After 111 days of searching for Travis Decker, and with hundreds of officers and thousands of hours investigating, the manhunt led back almost to where it all started, not far from where the bodies of 9-year-old Peyton, 8-year-old Evelyn, and 5-year-old Olivia Decker were found. Investigators using a drone spotted a shirt in the Washington wilderness.
Okay, guys, so that's how they kind of first identified that there was something out there. They were using drone technology and they spotted the shirt, right? I mean, and this is very vast, steep, rocky terrain that they are traversing to try to find Travis Decker.
The shirt was consistent with what we had seen in previous surveillance photos with Travis Decker. So I am confirming the shirt that we saw on scene is a match for what Travis was last seen wearing.
Crews had to be helicoptered into the rugged area to get a closer look. They discovered skeletal remains and more items believed to belong to Decker.
Personal items to include chewing tobacco that was consistent with what he had chewed, a bracelet which is consistent with what we'd seen in photos of him wearing.
Decker, who served 8 years in the Army and deployed to Afghanistan, was an experienced outdoorsman. According to our CBS affiliate Cairo 7, Decker had missed all scheduled drills with the National Guard over the past year. and the girl's mother has raised concerns about his mental health.
All right, guys. So right there, him going AWOL and not having any accountability is a big red flag for me, right? So I have to kind of go along with what Whitney is saying, where, he was obviously crying out for help. I'm not sure why he didn't get in trouble, for that. Molly does favor Stifler's mom, Cece, but no, no, she was on Wife Swap, I think. Molly Golightly was, I think. I cannot wait to see the Strike and Spare video either. I don't know why it's taking so long to come out. I'm like waiting. Hey, Holly S., good to see you. Okay, Miss Ann, have a good trip to the doctor. I hope it goes well for you. So yeah, so that's what we're dealing with Travis Decker. He wasn't showing up for drill. He wasn't taking care of the girls the way he was supposed to be. He did tell the judge that he thought that he deserved the time with the girls and that the judge should not be considering him living at the campsite as inadequate for the girls, although the judge did find it to be inadequate and said that they need more consistency. And so that's how it remained. And the girls were given to Mr. Decker for a visit, and he never returned them.
Last year, she told a court, Travis just keeps getting more and more unstable. He has made huge sacrifices to serve our country and loves his girls very much, but he has got to get better for our girls.
Right. So right here, guys, I want to just kind of briefly analyze this statement, right? So Travis just keeps getting more and more unstable, right? So it wasn't like he was getting better and then he would fall back. He just kept progressively getting more and more unstable, according to Whitney Decker, and that was Travis Decker's ex-wife, Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia's mother, right? He has made huge sacrifices to serve our country and loves his girls very much, right? So she's always standing up for Mr. Decker, right? You can really, I should say, I can really feel the love that she has for Mr. Decker. It's so sad because I think that she had more than enough love inside of her to sustain that family, but Mr. Decker was at every turn ruining that, right? He just was. And for any of us that have been in an abusive relationship, we know exactly how that is. It doesn't matter how good we are. It doesn't matter how perfect we are. It doesn't matter if every single night dinner is on the table and it is, straight out of Martha Stewart's cookbook, right? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how much we overlove our kids. It doesn't matter how much we overlove our spouse. It doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, he has a problem, a mental illness. And if he doesn't have, the wherewithal to take care of himself or to do better for himself, no amount of love that Whitney gives, and that woman has so much love in her heart, guys. I could just feel it. It doesn't matter how much love she shows. He still is in very, very dire straits, in my opinion. Right? So she's talking about these huge sacrifices. What about her sacrifices? What about Whitney's sacrifices? Because she had 3 little beautiful daughters that she was raising, that she was spending time with every night, doing their 3 their 3 feelings for the day. She was a very good mother to her girls. She was a very good wife to him, right? And she recognizes that he loves his girls very much. But guys, Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia, 9, 8, and 5, were found with Mr. Decker's DNA all over the plastic bags that were placed over their heads and tied so they couldn't breathe, the zip ties that were used to restrain them so they couldn't pull the bags off of their heads. That is far from love. And this is done by Travis Decker the first time that he gets access to his daughters. The very first time. I mean, YouTuber, it's beyond horrific. It is beyond horrific what he did to those babies. The two older girls had 2 bags over their heads, and they fought for their lives. Hey, Kimberly, they fought. You know, it's sad. It is so, so, so sad. And in my opinion, Travis Decker was showing no love to anybody. What he did was extremely selfish. And, you know, he may have just taken his own life. Now, his body was scattered by the critters out in the woods, right? They had taken him and pieced him out and had him all over the place. I mean, they found vertebrae, a couple of femurs later on, according to a press conference with our hero here. We got one of our heroes here, Mike Morrison, Sheriff Mike Morrison. He said he was going to find Travis Decker. He was very confident, and he made it a point to do just that. And he did, in my opinion, right? We're still pending some results from the medical examiner, but it does appear that they found Travis Decker. She says, but, right? So let me restate this. He has made huge sacrifices to serve our country and loves his girls very much, but he has got to get better for our girls, right? So she recognizes it, right? And there's also a bit of guilt in there. Thank you so much, YouTuber. There's a bit of guilt you can feel from her. Like, I know he's sacrificed for his country, and I'm sure he loves his girls, but he has to get better. He has got to, right? Because I cannot continue to let our children go, right? With him if he's not stable and if he keeps getting worse and getting more and more unstable, right? So I just kind of wanted to go over that because in my opinion, Whitney went above and beyond, but it still was never good enough because it does take 2.
Girls. The remains are being tested in hopes of getting a DNA match with Decker. Investigators say the case is on the 1-yard line.
I have asked them to take their time, not rush this. This has been a thorough investigation up to this point. We don't want any mistakes made.
Investigators say a dive team also found a key fob that could be a match to Decker's truck in a nearby creek. The sheriff has asked state forensic investigators to expedite the DNA test to close this case once and for all. He says Travis Decker is and has always been the only suspect. Kelly?
Right. So he's the only suspect. And that's because they found only his DNA at the scene, right? Even the blood they found on the tailgate matched to Travis Decker. Right? And thank you, Don Emery, too, for praying for Jonathan Hoang. And I think I need to realize how to pronounce that a little bit because I'm sure I'm not pronouncing it correctly. I'm still in shock over it, too, Town Check Cafe. I'm still in shock of what he did to those beautiful, precious angels. How could he? You know, that's my thing. How could he? Narita says, prayers for all of the missing children. Thank you, Narita. I really appreciate that. And prayers for Miss Ann, that everything goes well today. I know that's got to be such a tough procedure to have. Thank you, Cinderella. YouTuber is here. Great point. Family court judges need to err on the side of the instincts of the stable parent, in my opinion. I agree. I agree with that, and I agree with erring on the side of caution, especially when we have someone who is said to be unstable, and also when they have mental health issues. And I'm not saying, oh, just because you have mental health issues, you should never be around a child or anything like that. I'm not saying that, but I think it's just such a good rule of thumb. I say that because when I listened to Travis Decker pleading for time with his daughters, it broke my heart. It broke my heart, and this is the reason I wouldn't make a good judge. I wouldn't. I wouldn't be a very good judge at all, because I would have said let that dad be with his kids, you know. But I think I would have tried to set it up in an environment where it was supervised. But I would really want him to have more time with his kids, because it does break my heart. I think kids need their parents more than they need anybody on this planet, right? They need their parents to be stable. They need their parents to have consistency for them. They need all of that. It's so important coming from their actual parent. Yes, somebody can be a step parent. Somebody can be a mentor. Someone can be, you know, big brother, big sister kind of a thing. Yeah, you can always, you know, adopt a kid and show them love, right? You know, even if it's like, you know, your neighbor or something. Hey, it's, you know, it's Halloween time. Here's some candy for the little kids. You know, stuff like that is good. But it doesn't beat the love of a parent, you know. And so that's where it would he would have played me. Travis Decker would have played me, you know. And he didn't play that judge, though. The judge was like, but the judge also didn't put the children in a stable environment and say, you know what, we got to have you guys supervised, right? We got to have you guys supervised, and we need to do it at a facility, right, where you guys can come to the facility and be monitored. You know, it's not ideal, but maybe it would have taken some of the pressure off of the situation, and then he could have gotten the help. But guys, my problem is I think that Travis Decker would have done this given the chance, given the opportunity, given the opportunity. Because there's no amount of therapy or drugs on the planet that if you can actually fathom doing something like this to those three beautiful little girls back there, then you're capable of anything, in my opinion, and you should never be given any type of grace to continue going on. Because look what happened. The minute that he got custody, he did this, right? Let's see. Let me go ahead and take this down for 1 second, because I have the audio of, all right, just bear with me here. I think I did it in a video. Let's see, where's Travis Decker's stuff? Here it is. All right. All we need is one mistake. I love when Mike Morrison says that, because I agree. It just takes one mistake.
All we need is one mistake and one day to go in our favor, and he's going to be in our custody. So I hope he's watching. I hope he knows that we haven't given up, but you're going to have to be perfect every single day, Travis. And making it very clear that every single day Travis is out there, he's going to have to aim for perfection. He's not going to be able to make a mistake, because all we need is one mistake and one day to go in our favor, and he's going to be in our custody. So I hope he's watching. I hope he knows that we haven't given up, but you're going to have to be perfect every single day, Travis. We only have to be perfect one day. So we appreciate the community coming alongside us. We want to set up the opportunity for him to stand in front of our courts and our judges and face justice and hear the voices of Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia, whose lives were senselessly taken by evil. That's all it was. We remain committed here at the Chelan County Sheriff's Office with our regional partners, the Douglas County Sheriff's Office, East Wenatchee PD, Wenatchee PD, State Patrol, to continue to pursue justice and make sure their voices are heard.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. This is Lady Freedom here, coming at you with another raw narrative This is just a quick update on fugitive Travis Decker, also goes by the alias of Caleb. He is in court, and this is before the girls went missing. He is pleading with the judge that his circumstances should not hinder his visitation with his girls. He also assures the judge that he has never put his daughters in danger. Let's watch.
When I was separated from my original active duty, I came out into the civilian world and tried to figure out a way that I could live as a civilian. I didn't have family. I didn't have friends. I didn't have any support, especially coming to a state where I didn't have anybody to lean on or a couch to go sleep on. So when we initially went through our divorce, I went and put the uniform back on full time so I could support myself and support the family through the first big transition of Dad not being at home anymore. Once I fulfilled my year obligation, I talked with my chain of command and stepped down from full active duty and transitioned into, my contract ended in December of 2023. Starting over is hard, and I'm starting at the bottom, and I've got a long way to go, but I don't think that it should restrict the time that I get to be around my daughters.
We're not trying to take these children away from Mr. Decker. We respect and appreciate the fact that he loves his kids. That's obvious by the fact that he's attending their events. It's just important that they have this consistency in their lives.
Since I have been gone, every time I've had the girls, we have been in campsites in national forests and paid campsites that have campers. We've never done anything that was unsafe or anything I wouldn't want to put myself in.
Wow. Right there, guys. We've always done this. It's no big deal. Let me have my kids so that way I can be with them. We've never done anything unsafe. And then he does what he did to them? What a monster. What a cold and calculated monster.
I understand that my current position when I'm by myself isn't ideal, but my daughters aren't a part of that. I only get to see them over the weekends, and camping is something that the four of us have done since the three of them were in diapers. I've never done anything I feel like that puts them in any sort of a risk that most families in the state of Washington, every campsite we've been to in the last month have been almost completely booked out or sold out because everybody's out this time of year. When I stepped away from the National Guard, I was making $86,000 a year, and now I make, I think it's like $38,000 a year. So when you start over from zero and you don't have help in a hand to get you through it, it makes it a little more difficult.
A lot of things I need to consider when I look at the best interest of the children is stability, and that's not stable. It's not stable having them in different places every time you have them. That's concerning to the court, regardless of whether it's in an RV, whether it's in a tent, whether it's in Airbnb, whether it's in a hotel, a motel. That's.
And guys, we talked about this last week too during our day shows. It's very concerning. Even if you're staying in an Airbnb or a hotel or motel, it's very concerning, right? Because that is not a stable environment at all for the children whatsoever. And we've been seeing that a lot lately.
That's not stable. That's always a concern for the court.
Obviously, Judge Robert Jordan did not believe that the girls were in a safe environment with their father. He explains that it is still not safe because there are inconsistencies in the environment. No matter which environment, it's inconsistent for the children. But still, somehow, Travis Decker was able to bring his children to a campsite and take their lives. It's hard to imagine a father pleading for visitation rights with his daughters and a lot of poor, pitiful me. But what about the girls? Do you think the girls might not have wanted to stay at another campsite with their father? Maybe they didn't enjoy the trips as much as he did. Maybe they didn't want to sleep in a tent or sleep in the truck. Maybe it was scary for them out in the woods, even though he says that they all were in diapers when he took them camping growing up. But it's hard to believe that all three of them were in diapers at the same time. I also sensed a lot of moments when Mr. Decker didn't even believe himself. He knew that it was unsafe to have the girls out there like he did, in my opinion. I think it's really important to ask ourselves, when do fathers' and mothers' rights surpass the rights of the children to have a safe environment? And I would have to agree that motive doesn't matter. 3 little girls lost their lives at the hands of their father. Decker, if you're out there and you can hear this, we're coming for you.
Woo! And they did get him. They got him. I knew they would too. I just knew Mike Morrison was gonna get this guy. I just knew it. I knew it. This is a one time where I just love being right about that, because most of the time I'm hoping I'm wrong, when I give my opinions on things, but I just knew he was gonna get this guy because he had the determination, because he wanted it, right? Because he actually went out there and searched. Hello, Craddock McFly. All right. Brenda says he just wanted to get even with his ex-wife for leaving him. He planned all of this, just evil. Brenda, I agree that there had to have been some element of revenge, right? And I hate to say revenge, because I don't think that Whitney ever wanted to hurt her ex-husband. I think she still would have been married to her ex-husband if he wasn't such an unstable individual, And so, I'm hesitant to even say revenge, because for what? What did she do to deserve it? But it is, in his mind, I think he was, and also, you're not going to take my kids from me. I'm going to take them from you, is really what I think his mindset was doing that, Yeah, they'd get him or he's dead. Yeah. But I knew they were going to find him, because they're actually doing their job. Sandy, it'd be such a different story if we saw this happening in Sebastian Rogers' case. Them actually doing their job. They would have, their suspects too, and they would be closer to finding Sebastian. If they really thought he was in the woods, they would be conducting searches in the woods. But they don't believe that, in my opinion. They just don't. And let's move along here to Lily and Jack. Another update I wanted to share with y'all. So here we go. Okay. Oh yeah, that sheriff is very nice to look at, Brenda. He is very nice to look at. He really is. Hey, Canadian True Crime 2024. And just, his quest for justice is also very attractive. Yeah, LE is supposed to look for missing person. Right, exactly, Sandy, 100%. And it's ridiculous that they're not, in my opinion. Good voice too. Good voice, Sandy. Exactly. Exactly. Okay, here we go. Let's start this.
The development in the search for the missing Sullivan children. RCMP are bringing in specialized cadaver dogs to look for the pair, who have been missing from their Pictou County home and Lansdowne Station since early May. CTV late anchor Bruce Frisco has been following today's developments. He joins us in the news center. Bruce, considerable pressure now on the police to offer any information on this case, hey?
Right you are, Todd. The force hosting a news conference this afternoon with widespread interest from right across the country. In fact, there are people, as you know, around the world who've been watching the case with keen interest, posting about it on social media. They're making YouTube videos. As you mentioned, 6-year-old Lily, 4-year-old Jack Sullivan reported missing May 2nd from their trailer home in Lansdowne Station, which is a very rural area. The search effort, especially in those early days, was extensive. Hundreds of volunteers and experts combed and then recombed kilometers around the family home. And you may recall police dogs were part of those searches. What's changed now is the introduction of cadaver dogs.
Okay, guys. So yeah, they started out the search for Lily and Jack, and we all remember, again, another story where it just doesn't add up. The timeline doesn't make sense at all. We were trying to figure out who was the last, when was the last time these children were actually seen publicly, right? Because right off the bat, Malaya Brooks Murray, Malaya Brooks Murray and her live-in boyfriend, husband, whatever you want to call him, Daniel, were the last two with the kids, and they were both laying in bed, and there was a story about how, they heard the kids and then they didn't, and we can't hear the door open and close, but yeah, you can hear it open and close. And I'll try to find that clip too with the grandma. We'll go over that. But again, it's just another story that doesn't add up, doesn't make any sense, and they're expecting us to believe it. And then when we don't, they get upset, and I agree, Brenda, they definitely wanted to find out, where he was before it snowed up there because of the conditions, so. Oh, hey, Christy Smith. So good to see you. Hey, y'all. Hugs you all. God tells me every day to give love. Some people don't get it. Yeah, we have to. That's the big answer, Christy. It is. That's the big answer. Is love. More love, right? Because hate isn't going to solve anything, at all. And thank you so much for the green hearts. But it's okay to get angry and motivated, in my opinion, and I do think holding people accountable is also showing love.
Simply put, they are specially trained to pick up on the scent of decomposing human remains, and they're generally very successful at finding it, whether it's underground, in water, or even ashes. The success rate is quite remarkable.
In Nova Scotia, back in 2017, there was a research study conducted with the Medical Examiner's Office and the RCMP. This is kind of this building blocks of the human remains detection program for the RCMP. And when they did their study, I believe it was published in 2017, and their status for the training exercises was a 94% success rate.
I think I'd be.
Wow, 94% success rate. Faye, I'm not sure if the cadaver canines went into the home. I'm not sure. I know they were looking through, out in the woods for them, most definitely. But that's a great question. I do too. I do have a lot of anger, which motivates me in that way, Christy. I do for KP, CP, and LE, but I don't hate them. I actually pray for them to get the clarity, for them to get a conscience, to have some type of morality slap them in the face. Yeah, absolutely. Because it's so frustrating, right? CC at Town Chat Cafe says, yeah, same here, right there with you, because it is, because we know we're being lied to, which also makes people feel some type of way, which is anger, right? Sometimes it's even disappointment as well.
I think I'd be very confident if we can get our dogs in the right area, that our dogs, even if it's been a hot, dry summer, that should be fine for us.
One is, why now? What's changed? Well, police insist there's been no definitive evidence that Jack and Lily are in fact deceased, but they are obligated to explore that possibility. So that's why the dogs are being brought in now. And we should tell you, we're already seeing some reaction from family members. Paternal grandmother Belinda Gray quoted as saying she is thrilled that police are bringing in the specialized animals from out west, but adds it should have been done a few months ago. As to when they'll arrive, police will only say it is in the coming days. Todd.
All right, 819 tips, 80 interviews. We'll see if this provides any answers. Thank you, Bruce, in the news center. Of course, he has our late update at 11:30.
Okay, guys. So yeah, and their grandmother's saying, they should have been doing it earlier. That's a natural reaction. In my opinion, that is a natural reaction to, these two beautiful children being out in the woods for far too long, right? If they are in fact in the woods, but they've been missing for far too long, right? And that shows me that the grandmother cares, right? And that's their biological father's mother, in my opinion. That's saying that. Hey, SI officer, good to see you. Yeah, and we shouldn't hate, and but it's a child, and that's my biggest thing, Christy. That's when I really go off, right? You guys will really see me go off, and I start cussing like a sailor when I think about these little kids, especially look at Lily and Jack. They're so cute. And guys, in my opinion, when I look at Lily and Jack, it reminds me of my brother and me when we were little. We were the same age like this, right? We were a couple years apart. And if somebody hurt my brother, right? I'm a couple years older than him. I'm the older one. They'd be sorry they hurt my brother, right? And if they had my brother in their other hand, other arm, and me in the other arm, and they're carrying us off, I'd be telling my brother, kick, 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 scream, everything, right? Right? If you would even need to tell little Jack to do that, because his fight or flight might kick in right then, and he might start fighting. He might try to run off. He might try to freeze. He might just go with it because he's so scared. You never know what your response is going to be when it comes to survival, right? When that survival is kicked off, the fight or flight, you don't know. It's very unpredictable, right? The clock is ticking and talking. The time will come, and Luke 8:17 will happen. Yeah, the truth always comes to light. The truth always comes to light, town chat. Thank you. Christy Smith says, and I really think Lily and Jack are no longer with us. Sad. And thank you, lady, for never stopping. Me too. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, and I'll say this about Lily and Jack. I've really stayed a little bit more neutral in this case, and it's not that I didn't want to cover it, because look, these kids are so cute, and guys, I never believed the timeline when I figured out that the parents were being as wacky as the Proud Fee in this case, just like Felicia Gross, right? I covered it. I knew there was something wrong. I knew that there was something off, and it does appear that way. And so, but I didn't want to get into all of this crap and drama, because these kids don't deserve it. They really don't. So, do I want to talk to Daniel or Malaya? No. Mm-mm. I know they're guilty as sin. And look, the RCMP said that these children are no longer with us, and they've said that since like the first couple weeks, guys. So they have evidence, in my opinion, in order for them to have come out to say that, So, yeah, see, Courtney Morris says, yeah, I was always taken up for my brothers and my sisters. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Even if they're younger or older, that's your sister, that's your brother. Right, Holly S? Yeah, and my little brother would do the same thing for me, right? But mostly, I stuck up for him because I was older. You watch out for them on the bus. Lily and Jack rode the bus together. Me and my brother rode the bus together too. We didn't sit next to each other and stuff like that, but I mean, I kept an eye on him. Nobody was going to mess with him on the bus if I was there, Yeah, it's so sad. Holly S says, I feel the same just about watching the case. Yeah, and I mean, and the grandmother is a weirdo, not Belinda. I don't think Belinda's a weirdo. I don't. She's one of the more normal. Now, the situation, in my opinion, isn't normal, right? I mean, you have a father, Belinda's son, didn't want nothing to do with the kids. Malaya didn't want nothing, him to have anything to do. She took full custody, all of that. Those are huge factors to consider in this case, very big factors to consider in the case because it's just not normal. It's not normal, right? So there was already something right there, a major disconnect with the biological parent. Now, Belinda says that she was able to see, Jack and Lily anytime that she wanted to. She had a good relationship with Malaya. She said Malaya was a good mother. She said Malaya kept her house clean. She said, she wasn't the type of mom that would allow for it to get the way it was when she was with Daniel. Now, is it, in my opinion, is it Daniel's fault? I don't know what type of psychological abuse Malaya was enduring from Daniel. Daniel seems like a jerk, in my opinion, right? Just even though he's not outward like Chris Proudfoot, right? He's not out there causing trouble. He's not out there creating a circus. Now he does do a little bit behind the scenes, which is worrisome, right? He's trying to get ahead of the narrative. But, I can see it within him, and Malaya hasn't given us the opportunity to examine her, but that shows me that she doesn't, again, care either. Because if she really thought her children were out in the woods somewhere, she would be demanding answers. And she would have said, it's about time they went out with the cadaver dogs, because I've told you a million times I have nothing to do with this, right? And the kids walked out into the woods. So how come you guys aren't looking for them? And guys, again, I say this in Sebastian's case, try walking from Chris and Katie's house in the middle of the night with no shoes on in any direction. Pick a direction, any direction. That's on you. And see how far you get. Let me know how far you get, because you're not going to get far. The same thing with these two precious little kids. They went out into the woods, guys. They weren't going to get very far. They would have, become injured by something. They wouldn't have any food by now. Even in the beginning, the weather was treacherous as well. So a lot of factors to consider. Thank you, Narita, for your super sticker. Thank you so much. Oh, hey, wonderful day. A wonderful day says, love your channel. You keep it informative and no drama. Thank you. Thanks, a wonderful day. I try to. I know these cases are full of drama. They really are. They really, really are. Cinderella says, bad things happen on school buses. I was 5 years old and a teenager hit me on the head with a very thick book, knocked me right out. Oh my gosh, the bus driver never knew. Oh my, see, Cinderella, it is dangerous on the buses. Yeah. I mean, think about if that happens all the way in the back of the bus driver's driving. Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm so glad you were okay. I don't know why they let the older kids ride with the little ones anyway. I don't think they do that as much anymore. Hopefully not. Not to say that the older kids, but I mean, gosh. Aw. Thanks, Town Chat. Aw, poor little Jack and Lily. Let me take this down. And I want to show you. Now, this is probably an older interview. I'm sure you guys have watched this interview, but I wanted to play it because I did talk about Belinda. Let's see. I know there was a longer one. Was it an 8-minute? Was it only 8 minutes? Let's see. Let's go to this one. And I think this is the one, where the grandmother shows the property. We have a good idea of, the property. Just bear with me on the ads. I don't have premium. They have some really cute new Coach bags that are coming out, guys. Really, really cute ones. Okay. So let me go here. Oh yeah, this is the one. This is the one. Okay, we're about to see the patio door that these beautiful little children were said to have went out of.
So this is the patio.
This is the patio door
that Jack and Lily would have.
that Jack and Lily came out of.
Right, and this is their grandmother, who is Daniel Martel's mother. And look at her; she's so indignant, and you can hear it squeaking. Okay, so sorry, let me back it up, but I'm just, it's like, really? Right, and this is where she lives. This is her camper. Like, it's actually probably, back in the day you could have driven this. It's like it's actually an RV, right? It's not a pull behind, it's not a fifth wheel, it's a whole ass RV.
So it's the morning of May 2nd. Take me through what happened.
Okay, I was up at 6 o'clock.
Okay, and you can see, and I'll back it up too. I just kind of want to put this into perspective for everyone. So the house with the green and gray roof, right, is the house that they just went in the backyard where that fencing is, and they were opening the sliding glass door, right, or patio door. That is how close. Are you guys getting Summer Wells vibes? Anybody getting Summer Wells vibes here? Because that's how close, her grandmother was, right? Candace's mother. Very, very close proximity to where the children went missing from. And the road is actually down this dirt path, right? So right in front of this, but we're looking at the back view. But you can see this is where she lives. This is where the children would have come out of, and this is the backyard where they were. Right? Just to kind of put it into perspective for everybody. Now she's talking about waking up at 6 a.m.
The morning of May 2nd. Take me through what happened.
Okay, I was up at 6 o'clock, sat in there and had my tea. And then on Facebook, 7 o'clock, I get up, come over here, fed my chickens. My brother, Ron, called me at 8:48 and asked me if I wanted to go to town with him. And I said, no. I said, I'm staying home. I said, I'm going back to bed. Okay, I went and I laid down. Next thing you know, my dog.
All right, guys. So I'm not trying to talk bad about where people live or anything like that, but this looks very unsafe for her to even live in, along with her dog. It just looks very unsafe, right? I'm just gonna put it out there. The windows all busted up and everything like that. And then you have Malaya and the kids and Daniel living in the trailer home, right?
Started barking, and the kids were out in the yard. Now you can see there's two swings.
So she said the kids were out in the yard. The kids were out in the yard. So she recalls them being out in the yard that morning.
Where the kids play. My bedroom is right there. I heard the kids.
It doesn't matter where your bedroom is in that camper, sweetheart. You know damn well that you can hear every single thing outside of that camper, especially with those windows being all cracked up and you having holes everywhere in that camper. Oh yeah. You could hear everything. So I mean, right off the bat, she's a very untruthful person, in my opinion.
This is where the kids' swings are. This is where they always played.
Yeah, and again, that looks really safe for the kids to be swinging and playing right there, and they're put up like, they're not allowed to use them unless somebody gets them down, because Jack and Lily can't reach up to get those swings down from there, and it'd be dangerous if they did.
And so that's where
I heard them. And I can hear everything in that trailer. If two kids get out of a fence and Jack and Lily are all the time yelling, especially Lily, come on, Jackie, let's go, Jackie, let's go, Jackie. It's all I hear out here. When the kids get out of the fence and come out through here, I would have heard them yelling, come on, Jackie, let's go, Jackie, let's go. I didn't hear anything. The next thing I heard.
Okay, but you knew the kids were out there, right? You knew they were out there. And you just allowed for them to be running around by themselves, you know? Hey, Eric, good to see you. Yeah, absolutely, Narita. Thank you so much and I appreciate you guys being here to listen too. Because it's sad. It's sad that these little children, you know, have these adults that are just like, well, I was just doing my thing on Facebook and, my brother asked me to go to town. Well, I'm not dealing with these kids. It does take a village, especially if your son is laying in bed until after 10:30 in the morning. Right? If he wants to lay in bed all morning, then don't you feel like you should be helping him look after the kids if that's what he's doing? I mean, in my opinion. What about the kids? It's always about these selfish adults, in my opinion.
Is I heard Daniel yelling. He was yelling for Jack and Lily. I didn't hear anything. The next thing I heard is I heard Daniel yelling. He was yelling for Jack and Lily. I didn't get up because I thought he was yelling for Jack and Lily in the house. So the next thing you know, I came out of the trailer after I heard Daniel, about, I'd say 10 minutes after I heard him, I come out of the trailer. I opened up the door.
And guys, again, I don't want to nitpick on where she lives and everything, but look, yeah, it's very unsafe. Like you said, through a Nova Scotia winter. Oh my Lord, right? And then there's like there appears to be like a hose coming right here into open spots. Like, you're telling me that you cannot hear everything that's going on outside, whether, the door's open or anything? No, you're going to hear all of it because you have so many holes everywhere in your, and things coming out of your camper. And then also, I don't think Mima, it's safe either having that. That looks like a heater, like maybe even a pellet heater that she's got, and very defensive, Holly S. Thank you, busy mama. Yeah. So I mean, and there's no reason for her to be defensive. Eric says I'm rocking in at 51. Everyone like now. LOL. Hope you're all doing well. Thank you, Eric. Thank you so much. I still got to get you guys wrenches. I'm like so behind. I'm so behind. Looks like maybe power into the camper. Yeah, or I was thinking like a water hose even. Sandy, I don't know. Thanks for your super sticker, Holly S. Thank you. Yeah, so interesting, right? And then she's like, oh, I can always hear them out there. They're so loud, these kids. Well, yeah, because you have holes in your all over in your camper. It's still like they're not campers aren't very well insulated as it is. Even the ones that have, like there's Arctic packages and things like that on some of them, where they're a little bit more insulated, and you can insulate them yourselves. That's what she's got, the skirting on the bottom of the camper, but who knows? It looks like it's a dilapidated, old, not well kept camper. Yeah, plus these men are also so problematic, to others and dangerous. Yeah, especially to the kids, especially to these kids. Hey, Jude, good to see you. I'm thinking maybe a hose, but it could be a power source. It's hard to tell because some of those cords are really thick too. So just kind of wanted to stop off here. We'll go back.
10 minutes after I heard him, I come out of the trailer. I opened up the door, was standing here. Malaya was standing.
And see how far away the gate where they come out, and then they can go straight to that road. I just kind of wanted to show you how far that is.
Right here, with Meadow on her hip. And I come out, and I said, "What's up?" She said, "Jack and Lily are missing." I said, "How long?" She said, "About 20 minutes." I closed the door, got my boots on, came out here, ran up in the woods. Just right up here. The kids have a little fort that they made out of sticks and fir branches, and that's where they go. You can see them and hear them. We went for walks in the woods. I had to practically carry Jack through the woods because there was no way that he was walking through all that tree falls and bushes. I did this whole area. There's an old road up back. When I got up to the end, to the top of the hill, I met Daniel. And I said to him, I said, "Did you find them?" He said, "No." He said, "You coming with me?" I said, "No." I said, "I'm going to search this area." Because when she told me the kids were missing, you automatically think they went into the woods.
Why would you automatically think that? Did they go into the woods by themselves all the time? If you saw Malaya out there, then why didn't you ask her what was going on, right? If she was out there with Meadow on her hip, then she should have known where the kids were, right? I mean, just in theory.
That was my first instinct. So I went up and I did this whole area, this whole wooded area, right up to the top of the dirt road, came back down here and came back down the side of the road, come back down here and came back up the same spot. I went back into the house. By the time the cops were here, I don't know exactly what time, I didn't take my phone. The cops were here.
All right, so she says she didn't know exactly what time, right? Because she didn't take her phone. And see, they over-explain. We see a lot of over-explaining when it comes to Malaya, Daniel, and then even Daniel's mother, in my opinion. Yes, hey Jude, I hope you feel better soon. Oh my gosh, the flu, that's no good. That is no good. Okay, guys, at least somebody's still selling fall stuff. I was looking for a pot for my plant yesterday, and I had to buy a big pumpkin and put it in there. You guys saw my post. Alrighty, here we go.
There was a bench sitting here, or a sawhorse, it's over there, was sitting here. I was sitting on it, bawling my eyes out. I was crying because I blame myself.
I was sitting on it, bawling my eyes out, right? Now we know where Daniel gets his woe is me act from, his mother.
For not getting up that morning to see the kids. Because if I would have get up, this wouldn't have never happened. Okay? That's why I was crying.
We've heard a lot about...
I thought you were up since 6 a.m., right? So again, inconsistencies in stories, feel bad for me, all about me.
The patio door.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's go see that.
Sure.
Door.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's go see that.
Sure.
So this is the patio.
This is the patio door
that Jack and Lily would have.
that Jack and Lily came out of.
Right. This is the patio door that Jack and Lily came out of, right? And she's very sure of that, even though no one actually saw the children come out of the sliding glass door, right? And you see how the sliding glass patio door has a lip on it? So when you actually push in the door, it suctions into place, right? It suctions right into place. And when you pull it off of that suctioning, it's also going to make a noise. You can hear it rolling across. You can even hear it squeaking. Again, the living conditions aren't the best. It's an old trailer, in my opinion. Thank you, Hey Jude, for your super sticker. Thank you. All right, so again, I'm not buying it. And then look at the look at the reporter. She's like, and then look at her. It's like a Mexican standoff between these two. Dun 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 dun. What is she supposed to say? What is she supposed to say to that? Like, yeah, I mean, you can clearly hear it. I mean, these people are such liars. I can't imagine being face to face like this with her.
And
And then she goes like, yeah, see, and it's like, no, actually, we see even more that you guys are lying is what we see, right? Gosh.
And so tell us why we've heard about the patio door.
Because everybody's saying on Facebook, on YouTube, on TikTok that the patio door makes a noise.
It does. It just made a noise. We just witnessed her pull it open and it made noises. It made more than one noise. There, Granny.
And why they didn't hear the door open. The bedroom is back there. Okay?
That far window.
The last window is the bedroom.
And so they would have come out this door.
They would have come out this
that
door
morning.
Yes.
And then they went and played on the swing set.
Yes.
And that's when you heard them.
That's when I heard them.
Right, but here's the thing. That story doesn't make any sense at all. Right? Because you can hear the sliding glass door and Hey Jude says they're very noisy, and Sandy Mimima says even brand new sliding glass doors are noisy because they have that suction mechanism, right? That kind of sucks the door into and pulls it in, and then when you pull it out too, and then there's a track, right? That's how it operates. It's on a track, and so you can hear it rolling, back and forth on the track as you're opening and closing it. And you, again, that's a small area that they live in. It's not like the bedroom was on the other side of the house and the sliding glass door, that I could see them not hearing, right? Faye, I don't know how you got blocked. My goodness. No, you should never have gotten blocked. I'm so sorry if you did. Town Chat says, Lady Freedom, wait a minute and back up for a minute from earlier. Did you say the grandma's brother called and asked her if she wanted to go to town with him? Where does he live at? She did, or he did say that. That was in the beginning. Hold on, I'll show you. She shows where he called and everything. Hold on, I'll back it up. She went and fed her chickens, right? She was on Facebook, and then she said her brother called her.
Ron called me at 8:48.
Right? There's her brother calling at 8:48. Here's his picture, whatever.
And asked me if I wanted to go to town with him. And I said no. I said I'm staying home. I said I'm going back to bed. Okay, I went and I laid.
Right? She said she's going back to bed at that time.
Laid down. Next thing you know, my dog started barking, and the kids were out in the yard.
Right, but that was at 9 o'clock. That had to have been at 9 o'clock, right? Because she said her brother.
Okay, I went and I laid down. Next thing you know, my dog started barking, and the kids were out in the yard. Now you can see there's two swings where the kids play. My bedroom is right there. I heard the kids. This is where the kids' swings are. This is where they always played.
And so that's where
I heard them. And I can.
So according to her, she heard, or a little bit after she laid down, after 8:48 in the morning when she got the text message, right? And then she said that they were out in the yard playing and she can hear them from her yard. Yeah, Faye always has great things to say. Hey, Jude. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so again, it's just her timeline is not adding up whatsoever. So let's take it back to the sliding glass door in the patio.
On Facebook, on YouTube, on TikTok, that the patio door makes a noise. And why they didn't hear the door open. The bedroom is back there. Okay?
That far window.
The last window is the bedroom.
And so they would have come out this door.
They would have come out this
that
door.
morning.
Yes.
And then they went and played on the swing set.
Yes.
Right. So look, if we look back here,
This door.
They would have come out this
that
door.
morning.
Yes.
And then they went and played on the.
oh, sorry, I didn't back up far enough. Now, they're standing next to the sliding glass door, and you can see where the bedroom is. It's on the same side of the house, and it's the same, it shares the same wall with the sliding glass door. Right? So, I mean, well, and I'm just wondering if they were down for them to play with, right? Because if not, they were playing on the jungle gym, but why are the swings up like that, you know? And it's just, it all just seems unsafe, you know? No progress means police messed it up, in my opinion. You know, I think the RCMP was pretty well on it, although I don't know. It seems like they should have definitely checked everyone that was involved that morning. And it seems like they did, in my opinion. You know?
This window is the bedroom.
And so they would have come out this door.
They would have come out this
that
door.
morning.
Yes.
And then they went and played on the swing set.
Yeah.
They would have came out. I thought you said they did come out and they were over playing on the swing set, right? So again, her wording is completely off.
The swing set.
Yes.
And that's when you heard them.
That's when I heard them. Right here in this area here. I plan on putting a pool up this year for the kids. You need level ground for a pool. That's what I was doing. I was leveling out the ground to set up a pool.
And this is the Thursday.
This is Thursday.
Right.
Friday, all the investigators, search and rescue and everything.
All right, guys, really quick. This is an odd place for a pool, in my opinion. Why wouldn't you put it in the yard? Why wouldn't you put it in an area where the children couldn't get to the pool unless someone opened the gate for them, right? Because that's typically what you do when you have a pool, is you make sure that no children can just come up and jump in the pool and drown, right? And so you make sure that they're, and even, I don't know how it is up in Nova Scotia and Canada. I'm not sure what kind of permits or regulations or what is needed on private property to build or to put a pool in or anything like that. But typically you have to make sure that the pool is secure. So no one can just come in and jump in there. And again, you know, you also don't want to get sued for someone drowning in your pool that you didn't have secured. Karen, good to see you. Karen says, I would like to see a video with nothing. KPCP has only said, or has said only what we've seen on with our own eyes, videos or photos. LE said what Seth has said was none of what he was told by CP or KP. Take their lies in a negative spin. Sandy says, I think that maybe LE gave up. All right, guys, so I'm just going to go ahead and play this next part.
Right around here was where they found the only footprint.
This is where the boot.
This is where I was raking that night. That's where the boot print was found, in the mud where I was raking.
I thought there was two boot prints.
There was supposed to be a footprint found away up on the pipeline.
Right.
Malaya sent me the picture of it. That's all I know. There was a footprint found.
Okay.
But I'm telling you, the footprint was here. The only one that they can confirm that was Lily and Jack's was right here.
So it was child size.
Yes.
Was it Lily or was it Jack's? And last time I checked, they both have 2 feet on them, right? They weren't just hopping around on 1 foot. Come on.
A man, one of the investigators came in here and was measuring it all.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not here to lie. The reason why I wanted you guys to come here and do the interview here is to show you exactly where everything took place.
Hello.
Do you want to play with me?
Sure. You want me to help you with your groceries? This journey.
And to show people that this is what happened. All the stuff that people, all the rumors and accusations about us murdering the kids and burying them on the property, this place has been searched thoroughly. The well has been checked, the septic tank, all the barns were searched. My RV was searched 3 times. The trailer was searched. This whole place was searched. If they want to come back and search again, they're more than welcome.
You've talked about drones flying over your property. You've
Yes.
talked about cars driving down the road and
Yes.
slowing down. What's that been like?
I'm scared to go out sometimes in my own property. I mostly stay around back here. And if I do go out front for anything, I usually have my head down because I don't want people to see who I am.
Wow. So she doesn't want people to see who she is, right? But she didn't have anything to do with any of it. But she doesn't want to see anybody to see her. Hey, Andrea. Weird, right? Weird. Why would these children have not gone missing if she would have stayed up watching them? They were not her responsibility. Right. And that's true, Cece. That's a good point. And why the guilt, right? If you didn't have anything to do with it and they're not your children, right? And you have 2 adults in the house that should have been taking care of the children, then why would you feel guilty if you didn't have anything to do with it? Great point. Great point. Yeah, and they're searching for, and they're so little. Hey, Jude, they're just so little. Yeah, we've almost solved these cases, and the police are stuck. Make it make sense. Exactly, Faye. Exactly. Exactly.
That is me myself. It's not because I'm hiding from anybody. I don't like to be on camera. I don't like my picture taken. I'm just a quiet person that just wants to be left alone, and I mind my own business. I'm just a hermit.
All right. So, she's just a quiet person. She just wants to be left alone. She doesn't want anybody bugging her. Well, that's the position that you put yourself into, though, when there's 2 missing children, right?
Do you feel as if the finger has been pointed towards you and Daniel?
Yes, I do. Because I live on the property. Come on.
Do you think?
Well, and you were also allegedly, according to you yourself, one of the last people to see Jack and Lily, right? And your story still isn't adding up. Andrea says, I agree the children weren't her responsibility, but I think she knows what happened, in my opinion. I do too, Andrea, and I think that's why she's, feeling this way. Otherwise, she wouldn't be, in my opinion. Yeah, hard to see the mom at the beach. Right, exactly. Hey, Jude, 100%. Exactly.
Your son had anything to do with the disappearance of Jack and Lily?
No, I don't believe Daniel had anything to do with the disappearance of Jack and Lily. Our heart don't lie, and my heart is telling me that my kid did not have nothing to do with this. And
Wow. Okay, now guys, this is where she gets really, really, and I'm going to play it all the way through. I won't stop it. I'm sorry, but this is where she gets really reminiscent of a mother whose child just broke a window with a ball. And oh, my child didn't do that. Yeah, you did. He's on camera, right? Something like that. Because clearly they have more to do with this than what they're letting on. But just this reaction right here is like a flying monkey mom to the max. So let's just back it up.
Of Jack and Lily.
No, I don't believe Daniel had anything to do with the disappearance of Jack and Lily. Our heart don't lie, and my heart is telling me that my kid did not have nothing to do with this, and I had nothing to do with this. You know, if something bad happens, you get like your heart drops.
Wait a minute. You had nothing to do with what? You had nothing to do with what? She has nothing to do with this. And neither did Daniel. Daniel had nothing to do with this, and I didn't have anything to do with this. What is this? What is this? I really wish the reporter would have asked her, well, what do you mean by this? What do you mean? Right? Probative questions is what we need in these cases. And I agree, Hey Jude, just like Chris Watts's mom, just like, Chris Proudfoot's mom, in my opinion.
Oh, if something bad happens, you get like your heart drops. Mine hasn't. You know, if something bad happens, you get like your heart drops. Mine hasn't dropped. Deep down in my heart, I do believe Jack and Lily are alive. It's not because of what people are saying. It's my heart tells me that they are alive.
All right, guys. So her heart tells her that Daniel had nothing to do with it. Her heart tells her
Daniel Martell has known since.
Hold on. Sorry, guys. Her heart tells her that they had nothing to do with it. Right? But she was there. So she doesn't have to rely on her heart. She can rely on her other her five senses, right? Sight, touch, sound, right? Those kind of senses. She doesn't have to follow her heart. It's not like she's being interviewed and she lives a town away. She was right there on the property, right across from where everything went down, in my opinion. No, I don't think she's a quiet person either, Cece. Not at all. And Dara says, wait, if no one gets cell service for calls, how did Malaya send her pics of the boot prints? Seems unrealistic that the data. Oh, that she could send a picture, right, and not make the calls. That's a really good point. Yeah, I wonder when she sent her that. Yeah, because and I'm not saying that the cell service isn't spotty out there, So, yeah, and it's like she's confessing, right, Faye? Right. And she's so indignant. That's the problem, Janie, did you ever help your son cover up his crime? In my opinion, I know, Faye. Yeah, and it would have just been nice if she would have, followed up with that. Well, what do you mean by this? What do you think happened? Right? Something like that would have been probative. But I'm sure. I mean, I don't know. I'm not sitting across from that woman. She looks kind of terrifying, and she looks like she's very short tempered, in my opinion. Daniel's mother does, So.
Daniel Martell has known since the day Jack and Lily disappeared that he was a.
What is this face he's making right here? Look at this. He's looking, he's grabbing one. Those are markers to show where they've searched, and he's looking at it like it's the baby's first shoes, right? Wow, this guy's a weirdo. I'm sorry, he is. He's so weird. Ah, thanks, Hey Jude. Oh my gosh, it was so funny. I asked one of the ladies at the store, I'm like, am I going crazy or are there pots someplace for the plants that I'm missing? And she said, no, they took them all and it was like 7 aisles of Christmas. I'm like, oh my gosh. And even the outside area had no pots. It was all like the big blow ups for Christmas, And I was like, oh, I came too late for a pot. But then I saw the big pumpkin and I was like, oh, it'll fit in there. I just have to get a little bit more dirt. But yeah, that's why I didn't go live last night, because I was trying to do some decorating for fall and, fall and get everything going for fall. Town Check Cafe says, in my opinion, I do at least agree with her that, in my opinion, I think or feel that Jack and Lily are still alive, in my opinion. No, I don't think so, Tom Chat. I wish that was the case. I really do. I wish they were still alive somewhere. But I don't. No, I don't. No, unfortunately. I wish I felt differently, or thought differently on that. But Andrea says, I live in Canada. Our reporters and news are controlled by the government. Whoa, doggy. They can't ask the hard questions. Okay, same with our RCMP. Wow, Andrea. You're not the first person to say that, you know? You're not the first one to say that. That is very interesting. That is very interesting. And the government seems to be very pro crime. No, I'm just kidding. Or from what I've heard, they're not really hard on crime. You know, yeah, and the thing too with the RCMP, if they're bringing the cadaver dogs out now, that means they think, and they've said that they didn't think Jack and Lily were with us. And look, they're investigating the case, right? And unfortunately, unfortunately for Sebastian, we're dealing with a very corrupt police station, in my opinion. The RCMP doesn't seem like they're corrupt, although if they're controlled by the government, that's, in my opinion, not a good thing either, right? Doesn't mean they're corrupt. It just means that that is what it is. They're controlled by the government. So it's whatever the government wants. Very smug grim, right? It's also he's looking at it as if it's a point of nostalgia. Like he's looking at it nostalgic, They did have a dragon, Hey Jude, but I got the cat. Because it looks like the Cheshire cat. Yeah, yeah. I think they're unalive too. Yeah, and I think that's why the RCMP guys, because the difference between other search dogs and cadaver dogs is that cadaver dogs look for human remains, right? They look for people who are deceased, and they also can smell out decomp and even ancient bones, even in the water. So, the fact that they're bringing out these type of search animals and not, bloodhounds, if they were still, bringing out bloodhounds and stuff, then, yeah, maybe they think that they're still alive. But they have come out since probably the first couple weeks of the investigation and said that they don't think Jack and Lily are with us anymore based on their investigation. And I don't think they're lying. I don't. I believe them. Not like Sumner County Sheriff's Office, in my opinion. Yeah, he's just acting. He's acting very performative, Faye. Absolutely. Yeah. So their hands are tied, Andrea. Well, thank you for letting me know that too. Yeah, because I would have loved for them to just ask like that one little bit because like, those things, and I'm sure, that would come off as maybe me being a little too probative or intrusive and it might shut down the interview. So maybe I'm not the best, person to be interviewing people, but I would be that inquisitive and want to know, what do you mean by this? You don't have anything to do with what is this, type of thing. So, oh, okay. So you were married to a guy on the RCMP. Very cool. Yeah. So that must have been tough for him then, especially if he wanted, to be tougher on crime, to have your hands tied. That's got to be a really rough position to be in. Hey, Jude says the courts in Canada have awarded lawsuits by missing kids' parents against the media. Yeah, okay, so that is just like Claire's mom, right? Little Claire Bell, and her mother Rachel, who they've blurred her face out in recent and also they're trying to say that she's suffering from mental illness, which we all knew that. I mean, we talked about it extensively when we were reviewing her TikToks, there's no doubt about the fact that she has mental health issues. No doubt. You could watch one TikTok of hers and not have any type of psychology background whatsoever and recognize the mental health, the disconnect, the not being able to read the room, right? Faye says all of these are Timu actors, and I can't believe they passed their poly. I can't believe it either. I can't believe it either. But there's ways of doing it. One way is that you believe your own lies, that it doesn't cause any reaction at all for you to lie. Right? I don't see how anybody couldn't be nervous in that position, though. In my opinion, even if you're totally innocent, it would still be a nerve-wracking thing to do a polygraph. I don't blame him, Andrea. I would find it to be super frustrating myself, especially because they work so hard, they put themselves in danger, and then everybody goes easy on them. Like, oh man, that's got to be that's got to be beyond frustrating, and irritating. Bo says, "Hey, Lady Freedom and mods in chat. Been watching in the bushes. Just wanted to say hi. Hey, Bo. Thanks for being here. Thank you. Thank you." Yeah, so I mean, just very interesting. This face that he makes. He's a weird guy. He's a weird guy.
Jack and Lily disappeared, that he was a suspect. He's been their stepfather for more than 2 years, living together in this trailer. Martel says that's why he has fully cooperated with police.
Everything from my phone, doing a polygraph exam, and just ask them to do, here you go, search everything. Do it.
All right, and I'm just gonna back up really quick because something else bugged me. I'll replay it for us, guys. But Daniel Martel says he's been a stepdad for 2 years, but in that video where Lily was screaming and screaming and screaming at the birthday party, he didn't step in. He just sat back and watched her do it. So to me, you're not a stepdad. You were the mom's boyfriend or whatever you were to her, and you had a baby with her. You weren't trying to be a parent to those kids, or you would have said, Lily, honey, let's calm down a little bit, or, something. Someone else had to come in and say, Lily, and she stopped after she was asked to stop, right? So you're not a stepdad. You were sleeping all day. What are you talking about, dude? Sorry, guys. We'll just go back to the beginning because I know I'm talking too much.
Daniel Martel has known since the day Jack and Lily disappeared that he was a suspect. He's been their stepfather for more than 2 years, living together in this trailer. Martel says that's why he has fully cooperated with police.
Everything from my phone, doing a polygraph exam, and just ask them to do, here you go, search everything, just do everything you can for the kids, right?
Freshly unsealed court documents detail how RCMP combed through bank records, phone data, and GPS locations. Investigators wanted to know the exact whereabouts of Martel and the children's mother, Malaya Brooks Murray, in the days leading up to the children's disappearance, and cross-reference that information with the statements they gave to police.
Okay, guys, so that's a little insight into their investigation. So they did forensically interview and look at Daniel and Malaya, and even in the days before leading up to the disappearance of Jack and Lily. So just to kind of put it out there, it is extremely strange, and I don't think they were posing him for the camera. No, he did that on his own. No, I'm not giving him none of that. He ain't getting none of that off of me, because that is just weird. That little there's something wrong with that boy.
The documents reveal that as of July 16th, investigators did not believe the case was criminal. By that point, 6 polygraph tests had been done, including on both Brooks Murray and Martel. They were also done on Martel's mother, on Brooks Murray's mother and her partner, and on the children's biological father. Brooks Murray was given a polygraph
Okay, guys, so getting into the polygraphs, they polygraphed everyone involved. So it does appear that they're doing their due diligence here, right? Because I don't know if polygraphs are admissible in the courts in Canada. Maybe Andrea, you can help us with that. But I will say that they are obviously using them in order to establish whether people are telling the truth or not. And so they allegedly have polygraphed Daniel Malaya, Daniel's mother, the children's biological father, and then the two grandmothers, right? So I'll just back that up a little bit just to confirm.
Her partner and on the children's biological father, including on both Brooks Murray and Martell. They were also done on Martell's mother, on Brooks Murray's mother and her partner, and on the children's biological father. Brooks Murray was given a polygraph in what police describe as an effort to eliminate her as a suspect in causing her children's disappearance and possible murder. She passed, and so did Martell.
They've done a full background check, as much as they could possibly do. And I mean, I'm pretty thankful for them to spend the time and spend the resources to try to figure out everything.
An extensive search on Martell's property and the surrounding 8.5 square kilometers has turned up only a few clues. One was a boot print matching Lily's size 11 feet. Another was a pink blanket hanging from a tree found by family members of the children's mother.
And guys, I don't know if that's the exact location of where they found the pink blanket. I'm guessing so because it's got two ribbons on it. That's where he was holding those ribbons like that. What a weirdo. So right here, it looks like they marked it off with the pink ribbon and then the orange ribbons, right? So some of these can signify where they've already searched in order for them to, kind of keep track of that. But this appears to be where they found her blanket or a piece of her blanket. So if it isn't, that's fine. I still think it's very odd that Daniel's holding onto the ribbons like that in a nostalgic looking way with a weird smile on his face, like he's remembering something that he's done. Ugh.
Hanging from a tree found by family members of the children's mother. A piece of blanket was also seized from a garbage bin at the end of the family's driveway. Martell says it was the same blanket, but it had been ripped apart and thrown out.
I mean, it's mysterious as it is because the distance from the garbage bin.
As mysterious as it is, who says that?
From the garbage bin to where the blanket was found. The distance from the garbage bin to where the blanket was found is almost 1 kilometer.
RCMP have previously said Lily's blanket was sent for forensic analysis. To date, police have received 740 tips and more than 9,300 videos, and say a tremendous amount of careful, deliberate, investigative work is ongoing to locate Lily and Jack. Angela McIver, CBC News, Halifax.
Okay, guys, so again, it's very curious. It's very curious, because here we are. Daniel knows the exact location of where the blanket was found, and then the blanket was ripped apart. By what? What happened? It's very mysterious. If you know about the blanket, then how is it mysterious? Right? It's not. There is no mystery. The blanket was there. How did it get ripped, Daniel? You're the stepdad. You tell us. We weren't there. It's not our house. We don't live with you. Yeah, the American Psychology Association even says polygraphs aren't accurate. Yeah, thank you for letting us know too that they're not admissible in court in Canada either. But it can give you a good indication of whether somebody's being truthful or not. But then again, there are ways around it, like you said. And I mean, in terms of what medications they were taking, that does factor in with that as well. Hey, Jude says, with all the technology we have, why don't we have lie detectors? I don't understand why we haven't come further. I mean, I get that they're probably more digitized, but that's a good question. Hey, Jude, that is a really good question. Town Chat says, oh, wow, that blanket story is odd too, in my opinion. Yeah, and he says, oh, it's so mysterious. Well, it's only mysterious because you're making it so, bro. You're the one that's not telling us the truth. You know, he does put my gag reflex into high gear as well. Yeah, absolutely, Andrea, definitely. And that's another reason I can't with him. You know, I don't want to. He is, to in my opinion, a very strange individual. We'll just say that, and I'll be nice about it. Um, Another update I wanted to give you guys today is in the baby Emanuel Haro case, right? So, uh, he has not been found yet. He is still out there somewhere. And let me see here. I know there was an update. I don't want to watch another YouTuber's commentary because I don't know. I don't know what's truthful or not. Like, I just saw one that said 3 days ago his remains were found. I don't think that happened. Let me know in the chat if I'm wrong, but I'm not sure that that's true. Here is one that I wanted to review here from 3 days ago. Just bear with me here. Let me pop it up on the screen and present it to you guys. Alrighty, here we go. And this is from 3 days ago, so
The parents of missing baby Emanuel Haro facing a judge in Riverside. The defense questioning where this case should be heard, and outside court, a local mother is pushing for stronger protections for abused children. News Channel 3's Garrett Hoddle is in Riverside tracking the latest developments on this case he's been following so closely since day one. Garrett.
John, and today brings us outside the Riverside Hall of Justice, where inside a courtroom behind me, both Jake and Rebecca Haro entered not guilty pleas on murder charges. We also learned new September dates for the upcoming trial, and counsel was assigned to both Jake and Rebecca. Now, you couldn't get a look at both of them very clearly. Both their attorneys were blocking their view. Take a look. Jake Haro remains with the public defender. Rebecca Haro now has court-appointed attorney Jeff Moore. The prosecutor announced for the people, and the court has moved to scheduling.
I would note that the allegations, at least to my understanding, arose in the area of Catazon, which is typically in the vicinage of the Banning courthouse.
The judge said Moore can file a motion if he wants a venue change and set additional September appearances. Outside advocates focused on the children at the center of cases like this.
okay, guys, so this is a great one because this is introducing Emanuel's Law. People are trying to put different laws in place in California so that way these children are not falling through the cracks of the system still. We don't even know when this baby was born, right? We have no idea. It is so sad. So it looks like there's a petition in order to sign. So I'll try to find that link as well. Or mods, if you guys know where it is, please feel free to drop it in the link, or excuse me, drop it in the chat. That way people can just click the link and go and support this. But this woman is going to tell us about it here.
Yes.
Emanuel's Law is to protect every child, to make sure that no other child goes to convicted child abusers in the future.
She says petitions have drawn thousands of signatures, and organizers hope to take it to lawmakers. Detectives maintain the kidnapping didn't happen, and the search for Emanuel's remains continues.
Poor beautiful baby. And and it's so sad, and they're just covering their own butts right now. They could care less that he's out there. They know where he is. And again, we see people covering their butts. It's a pattern. So Narita says, I don't think that they will find that poor baby anytime soon unless the so-called parents tell them where they put him, in my opinion. Yeah, Narita, because that's the hardest part, right? Because, they were looking in the trash. They were looking in the desert, in the Badlands in the desert, and they came up short. So I agree. I am hoping and praying that we can find him, but I don't know that it's going to be fast, right? And there seems to be these defense attorneys are really going to bat for them, trying to get a change of venue and all of that. So it doesn't look like they're going to come out and say anything now in terms of where that baby is, unless they try to work a deal. But they're both being prosecuted for murder.
And we did ask for a copy of the arrest warrant. We were told that is not available today. Now, a felony settlement conference has been scheduled for September 16th, with the preliminary hearing scheduled for September 17th. However, that is expected to change. Stick with News Channel 3 as we continue to follow this story. For now, live in Riverside, Garrett Hoddle. John, back to you.
All righty. There was another one that had come out. Was it this one that I watched earlier? Okay, maybe it's this one.
Now breaking up. Emanuel Haro. This morning, prosecutors allege Emanuel was abused over time and killed sometime in early August. His remains have still not been found. And Jake and Rebecca Haro face charges of murder and filing a false police report. Let's go back to Garrett Hoddle, who was in the courtroom with both Jake and Rebecca and joins us again from the Breaking News Center with more on what happened.
Yeah, Peter, that's absolutely right. You laid it out perfectly there. And once again, you couldn't get a great look at Rebecca in court. You can see Jake right there as she was being blocked by her attorney once again. Both parents in court today. And now Jake and Rebecca Haro have their next felony settlement conference. This is set for October 16th. A preliminary hearing is scheduled for October 28th. The judge also signing a protective order, something both defense teams objected to. Today's conference lasted less than 10 minutes. And meanwhile, outside court, volunteers with a group called Emanuel's Law.
Okay, guys, so just really quick, I just want to kind of reiterate that the parents will be back October 16th. They have a preliminary hearing scheduled for October 28th. And so we will know more information then, I'm assuming.
Talked to them before, gathered this afternoon, pushing their petition to strengthen child protections.
So Emanuel's Law is a grassroots movement born from foster families and child advocates across the U.S. And its mission is simple: to stop children from being returned to abusers and to create a public registry for child offenders.
Volunteers have been following the case. Ortiz says they collected more than 200 signatures from supporters this weekend in Joshua Tree. Tonight, she says they plan to collect signatures outside the Haro home in Cabazon. You can see the memorial there.
Right. So that's a great cause, guys. And, if we think about what happened with Jaden Spicer, right? He was given back to his mother, who was abusive towards him. And that's the reason why she didn't have him to begin with anymore, was because of the abuse. And so I think Emanuel's Law, should be a federal law where these children cannot be sent back to these abusers, right? These abusers cannot get off so simple, because there's something wrong with these people. There's something wrong with these people. They're not right in the head, and they should keep them in jail forever, in my opinion. And never let them out, and never let them around a child, ever. Not even a FaceTime with the children.
Meanwhile, we do have reached out to officials for updates on the investigation. Tonight, the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department telling me there are no new updates on the search for Emanuel's remains. For now, in the newsroom, Garrett Hoddle, back to you.
In Riverside, the parents of 7-month.
Yeah, and that is just so sad. So very, very sad. I thought there was one more I wanted to show you guys. Silent Crimes. I don't think you got it right, buddy. Let's see here. That was 3 weeks ago. Oh, there's that David guy. Can you guys still see where I'm scrolling? Yep, there's that David guy in Celeste, right? The singer, David. Hey, Lil Red, I agree. Yeah, there should be a national registry for child abusers. I agree. We need to know who they are, right? because they could just lie. Oh, I didn't really do that. I just dropped the baby. I didn't mean to. They wrongfully convicted me. Bull crap. Andrea says CPS fails so many children and the courts, in my opinion. I agree. You know, and we just have to make sure that we don't get easily swayed by these people either, because even Travis Decker was pulling on my heartstrings for himself, and look what he did. We just have to recognize these people for who they are and stop giving them a free pass and stop feeling sorry for them, or, oh my God, they were hurt when they were a kid. Too bad. Everybody gets hurt. If you make it through life without getting hurt, you haven't lived. So that's my opinion on that. I just think it's so sad that these babies fall through the cracks like that. But there is no updates as of 3 days ago on whether they're going to be searching for this baby. Let's see. Banfield has something here.
Adobe Acrobat Studio is all new. What can PDF spaces with AI do? Drag in research, drop in thoughts. AI pull insights from your docs. You did your thing. It's time to share. Then let your team build from there. Now you can do that. Do that with the all new Acrobat.
It was a month ago yesterday that the parents of Emanuel Haro told us all that their baby had been kidnapped from a California parking lot.
Hola. All right, so here's Ashley Banfield. This is DA addresses misinformation in baby Emanuel Haro's case. So the DA is going to come out and talk about the misinformation. Let's see what he has to say.
Emanuel has not been seen since, and police now say he'd actually not been seen for days before that either, and may have been killed as early as August 5th.
May have been killed as early as August 5th. Wow. So they think that he was gone. And, we thought that too here, guys. I know we talked about it. We went over it. We speculated that, even down to, where was baby Emanuel born, right? When was he born? How old is he exactly? Yeah, Riverside doesn't want that blemish, right? Yeah, Sandy, that's a good point. Riverside County, that is one of the nicer counties. I've sold real estate leads, a lot of them in that area, actually. They had plenty of time to do all of this, Little Red. You're very right. I don't want to say right now that I think that he won't be found, but I don't think it's going to be soon, even though I wish that I hope I'm wrong, right? But I'm thinking it's going to be a little bit more difficult, and I'm thinking that they might take a plea deal, and maybe they will be truthful and finally tell, but I think they're playing the DA, in my opinion.
Police presume that he was murdered, and they charged both of his parents, but this is not the first case involving that dad, Jake Haro, and a very small baby of his. In 2018, he abused his newborn daughter, Carolina, so badly, in fact, she remains brain damaged and bedridden to this day.
Her name's Promise now, so I don't know why they would, say her name like that they gave her to begin with, because they changed her name, but I just want to kind of throw that out there.
In 2023, he pleaded guilty to willful child cruelty and was handed a sweetheart deal. 6 years suspended, which means he didn't go to prison.
Yep, he didn't have to serve nothing.
He got probation. And the Riverside County DA, along with many others, say that is a travesty. Mike Hestrin has attacked that sentence publicly, twice, in fact. First in a press conference late last month, and now in a written statement, saying that the judge, quote, chose to deviate from prosecutors' recommendations. The DA says that the charges would have been stiffer had there not been a literal rush to judgment. Quote, had the case gone to a preliminary hearing, it is highly likely that we would have sought amendments to increase the charges.
Right. So what the DA is saying here is that if it wasn't for the deal, then they would have been able to, seek out amendments to increase the charges in order for them to keep her longer, or to keep him longer, excuse me. So yeah, and give him a stiffer sentence. Absolutely. What was done to little baby Precious was Promise was absolutely awful, right? She was born a healthy baby. She may have had some fetal alcohol syndrome because of her mother drinking when she was pregnant, because we know little Jose, he had fetal alcohol syndrome. He still has and is living actively with fetal alcohol syndrome. There's no cure for that, right? It's terrible. Even little babies that are addicted to other substances struggle throughout their lives because of it. But fetal alcohol syndrome is absolutely awful, right? And so she actually would have probably had some issues no matter what, because of what her mother did, abusing her in the womb, drinking alcohol. How dare she? But Emanuel Haro, or excuse me, Jake Haro decided to take it upon himself to abuse her so viciously, to attack her. And now she cannot function properly ever on her own. So sick. Lisa King says, I hope they don't get some kind of deal. Some want to paint the mother as being abused, but I feel she could have stayed. I feel like she could have saved the baby. Yeah, I agree, Lisa, with that. I think that she was, no doubt about it, she was abused, right? No doubt. But that doesn't give her a free pass, right? It's just like Kayla Montgomery. There's no doubt about it that she was abused. Adam abused every single woman he's ever been with, right? And he abused other women and attacked and was in trouble for hurting other women that he wasn't even romantically involved with, right? So that's the bigger picture here as well, and I agree with you. She could have saved her baby, but she chose not to, in my opinion.
However, Mr. Haro pled guilty prior to that stage, and the final plea was presented to and accepted by the court.
Right? So they tried, they would have trumped the charges up had they had a chance, but they didn't have the opportunity because Mr. Haro pled guilty prior to that stage in the process, right? And so he worked out a sweetheart deal with the prosecutors, and the judge accepted it.
But again, I remind you, the crime committed against the newborn was in 2018. That plea deal was in 2023. So by my math, that's 5 years. That's a really long time, 5 years. Which means that the DA and their office had like 5 years to charge Jake Haro with whatever the hell they wanted to charge him with, right? So is the judge's fault that the charges weren't more serious after 5 years? In any case, while Jake Haro was out on probation in 2024, he allegedly violated said probation by having a handgun. And this is where it gets a little sticky. He was in and out of court 3 different times. And each of those times could have been sent back to prison, could have been, or at least held there, locked up until they settled the matter. Usually probation, found with a gun, usually go right back in.
Yeah, that should be a major probation violation right there. Major violation. Great point, Ashley Banfield. Love Ashley Banfield.
But he went in and out 3 times. And according to the Long Beach Post, prosecutors never once objected to Jake Haro remaining free on $60,000 bail. I should remind you that in those ensuing months, baby Emanuel disappeared and was presumed murdered. In that same newspaper, the judge gave a rare comment in his defense, saying, quote, in 18 years, this is the first time I've been taken to task in this manner about a decision that I have made. We reached out today.
He's been taken to task? He's been taken to task? You mean you had a come to Jesus moment? Because that's what I would have had if I would have made that shitty of a call. Oh yes, that's amazing. That's amazing that you have no accountability. Colton Joint Unified School District. Is that where that? Oh, that's I'm sorry. That's where that came from. My bad. Getting a little bit too hot here. But are you kidding me? That's all this one has to say for himself. Oh, all my 18 years, I've never been taken to task. What? You mean you've never been held accountable for your shit decisions?
We reached out today to the DA for additional comment, and we were told that Haro's bail was set by the court, not by their office. They promised to answer more questions at a press conference tomorrow morning. We're going to keep you posted, but man, oh man, you don't see this very often. DAs going after judges, judges going out publicly and saying, what? Lots
Not I'm sorry. He never said he was sorry, did he, Ashley?
more in this case.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our News Nation app.
No, he said he's never been taken to task before. Unbelievable. Well, there's a baby with and his blood is on your hands, Judge. Little beautiful baby Emanuel. Oh, these monsters. These monsters. So, but those are the updates. Hey, Social Butterfly. Good to see you. Those are the updates in true crime, guys, that I can find, as we're going along. So, like I said, I am trying to plan for a live stream this week with about Devlin Tate. And we also have our Sebastian Rogers. I am going to try to post that video early enough tonight. So if you guys want to go over and just watch the interview or the video that I put together, you guys can do that. In order to prep for the live, and then also, we're going to go over it in the live. But I found an older interview I wanted to go over with you guys. There were a few big major details in there that I wanted to discuss, and also wanted to put it into perspective of, where we're at now with things, right? Because it's a lot different now. And then working with Chuchi on, a spreadsheet, what I really wanted to do as well with that is go back and start watching these interviews from the beginning, right? The big ones, the ones that they were doing in the very beginning, right? So the Duchess for the missing interview will be the first one that we do. Thank you, Narita. Thank you so much for the green hearts. That'll be the first one that we do. And we're going to go over it. We're going to talk about it, and we're going to analyze it from what we know today, right? So that's going to be the big plan. Hopefully, I'll be able to get sometime this week the purse that I ordered. I mean, it's called a travel bag, but it's a purse, in my opinion. That I ordered from Seth's merchandise website for Sebastian. It's got Sebastian's missing information, a QR code to scan, right? So if I'm at the grocery store and someone asks me about my bag, I can tell them about it, right? I can show them right there. I don't have to pull it up on my phone. I just show them my bag, right? They can snap the QR code, and there we go. And then if they want to follow me and listen to the story or listen to the coverage, they're more than welcome to do that. But I think at this juncture, my big problem with Chris and Katie and the TBI is that, and Eric Craddock, is that they are corrupt as they come, right? They are corrupt as they come. In my opinion, they're hiding details. This is the TBI narrative. Katie and Sebastian happy at the Texas Roadhouse, sitting on the same side as each other, just having a ball. But the reality of what actually happened at the Texas Roadhouse was Katie grilling Sebastian, Katie looking around the restaurant like a weirdo. She has a weird look on her face. I don't care who you are. That's not you looking for a server, in my opinion. And then she gets Sebastian so upset that he's looking down, picking his fingers, biting his nails. Right? We saw how she flings the menu at him across the table. Right? We know so much more now than we did back then. So we need to go back and examine this. We need to go back with a fresh set of eyes, right? Make sure no stone is left unturned. Yeah, plain as day. Plain as day. Thank you so much, Social Butterfly. Yeah, and this is where you guys can go get it. But I want to do the unboxing this week. And then hopefully I'm going to order my shirt and hoodie too. So that way I'll have that. I could, wear it when I go to Pigfest. Because I'll be planning for that too. Also, I'm going to be doing a little bit of fundraising for the trip. I just have to see how much it's all going to cost in terms of like gas and everything. But I'll be doing that as well. So look forward to that. But this week, we're going to have a full week of shows. I'm going to be doing 2 shows a day. Typically, we'll do a day show. And then depending on what time the night show ends, and I can prepare for the next day, the morning show, then we're going to, or afternoon show, then we're going to do it that way. So just expect to see, set the notifications, please, and expect to see us coming in hot with the interviews in order, and we're going to go back over all of them. I think that would be something that would be interesting to see them. And also, I don't like this narrative being thrown out there about the flashlight video and about how they're only showing one piece to that flashlight video. And we're going to get in depth with that tonight as promised. So look forward to that. I'll be on about 11 or 11:30 tonight. So I look forward to seeing you guys. Even I know you're my earlier crowd, but I would love to have you there if you can. He doesn't look happy at all, Mimima. And this is the problem, right? This is what really happened. But the TBI puts their stamp of approval on an old picture of Sebastian and Katie. And that's the narrative that they want to push. They also want to push that nothing to see here with the lights video, right? Because Sebastian went off by himself with the flashlight. And I'm going to show you why that's impossible. I will bring the receipts. Well, guys, thank you all so very much for being here. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Dawn Emery, Hey Jude, Faye, Ann Reynolds. I hope everything goes well for you, Ann. Andrea, thank you so much for giving us your insight on how Canada works and how the laws are there. I really appreciate that so very much. Bo, thank you for being here. Town Chat Cafe, thank you so much. Everyone who's participated in chat, everyone out in the bushes, I really appreciate you being here. CC, Mimima, all of you guys. I couldn't do the show without you all. Narita, Panda Bear's mom. Panda Bear's mom, please get together with me because I have a very busy week. And I would love to have you on panel about Devlin. But if not, that's okay. I can still do a live. I just would like to have you up because I know you're so knowledgeable about the case too. So, and Social Butterfly, thank you so much for being here. Lisa King, thank you guys. Thank you. You guys are the best. So, I really appreciate you guys, and you have a wonderful rest of your day. And I will see you for our late night live where we go over the TBI narrative versus reality. Thank you.